Hello, what's up? My name is Jacob and I am a UX UI designer, and this video is going to be about how I quit my day job to become a UX UI designer. Now, the path to get there wasn't exactly that simple. I had a lot of trials and tribulations to get here, but I guess to start off, let me tell you about myself. So I come from a photography background. I've worked in photography for about 10 years. It's something that I've dedicated my life, and it's something that I've always been passionate about. I primarily worked in music and skateboarding. Skateboarding came first, and then music sort of evolved, and from that later on. Most people know me from Toro et Moi. I have toured with them in the past, and I've done a lot of collaboration with Chaz, and I've been really grateful for all the opportunities that I've gotten, and that I'm still getting, and that we're still working on. So I originally came from skateboarding. Skateboarding has been a part of my life since I was a kid. I think I started when I was like 14, and I just never stopped. It was the one thing that I really believed in, and I had so much fun. I wanted to become a pro skater. Didn't exactly happen, but I was able to rub shoulders with a lot of my heroes and icons, and so I'm really glad that I pursued it. And so photography, I've been printed in Thrasher and Transworld. I've been featured in countless blogs and small magazines and things of that nature. And from there, it eventually transitioned into music. And so from there, I was able to make connections just through old friends and new friends, and we kind of just started talking. And when you're friends with other photographers, it's really easy to network and throw out opportunities each other's way. If something kind of happens that wasn't for me, and if I wanted to pass it to a friend, I'd hit them up, and vice versa. And that's kind of how music started for me. I started working as a photographer for the Observatory Orange County, which was, even when I think about it now, it's really crazy how I ended up there. I have to thank Christina Craig for everything that she did. She gave me such a huge platform and trusted me to do so much. And even more than that, I have to thank Oscar Days. He's a current successful music photographer. Who works in the industry, and his work is inspiring, and there's very few people. I don't know where I would be without Oscar, so I have to thank him too. And so yeah, I basically worked. I lived in Los Angeles, worked in the skateboarding and the music industry simultaneously, and then eventually moved to San Francisco, started doing it up here. And that was kind of my life. It was something that I had poured myself into, and I loved every second of it. There was never a dull moment. Basically from there, I moved to the Bay, and here I pretty much started on the ground, just building my connections, and I did all of the same things I was doing in LA up here. So that involved shooting photos of up-and-coming skaters and submitting them to magazines. And from there, I started working into music again, so I started working for Another Planet Entertainment, and I was one of their house photographers for about, I guess I still am. So I've worked for Another Planet Entertainment for about 5 years, shooting all of their shows at the Fox Oakland, the Bill Graham, the Independent, the Greek in Berkeley, and pretty much everything in between. I've done smaller venues like Chapel. I've worked for them for a couple years, and then kind of just bounced around in between all the other venues until I was able to find a home at Another Planet. And yeah, I have to thank them as well. They gave me so many opportunities and trusted me so many times, and thankfully I hope I delivered. I hope I did the right thing. I hope that my photos were good enough, and I'm sure they were. I think they liked me, or else I wouldn't be here. So yeah, I came up here, worked for Another Planet Entertainment, and from here, things were going great. And then the pandemic hit, and that's when things really changed. Everything that we were used to, everyone's lives flipped over on its head, and everyone was kind of struggling. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And so I ended up having to take a day job at a grocery store and I worked there for about a year. So working in the creative industry, there's so many highs and lows in terms of like financial security. You know, it's not stable, it's not consistent. You know, you always have to grind, you always have to hustle. There's no consistent flow when it comes to like creative industry unless you're at an agency. And so for myself personally, I didn't have all the stability, so I was kind of forced to take a day job, and I worked at a grocery store for about a year. And this is kind of when the pandemic hit. You know, I joined the grocery store, I worked there for like 2 or 3 months. You know, it was crazy because at that time, when I was working at the grocery store, I was like, wow, this is a chill job. It's super easy. You know, I get off early, I can still do my other work. And so it very instantly became a chill job to now I'm an essential worker, and now every day I'm risking my life. And frankly, I hated it. I wanted something that was casual, and then it just became dangerous, you know? At this point in time, nobody really knew much about the virus. It was just, don't get it. You know, play it safe and don't get it. And so I was working at the grocery store, and I was really struggling because mentally I hated it. You know, it just wasn't for me. I was like, I need to do something else. Like, everyone works from home. I have to go to the grocery store and risk my life for not much money, and it just wasn't worth it. Lo and behold, Megan came into my life, my partner, and she is a product designer. And basically through her, I learned about the world of UX and UI. And you know, the topic just kept coming up in my head, and she kept encouraging me, like, hey, you would probably be pretty good at this, you should try it. And so after a couple of months of contemplating, I finally did it. You know, I did my research, I looked at a bunch of different boot camps and schools, and I was able to find the right one for me. Thinkful was perfect for me because they offered a financial stipend. And for someone like me who didn't have all the financial stability, this was exactly what I was looking for. You know, they gave me the platform that I needed to really focus on school and to really be the best student that I could be. And so it was exciting, and it's invigorating, and it's a lot of things. It's just very, very exciting. For me, it was such a godsend. And so yeah, I have to say thank you to Thinkful, you know, for giving me the platform to learn and not worry about like my financial stability. And I have to give them a big thank you for that, because I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for the stipend. You know, I'd probably still be working at the grocery store. So I started at Thinkful. My first week was super exciting. You know, I got to meet my classmates, and I got to meet my teachers and my mentor, and yeah, it was just really exciting. You know, I was jumping into this new field, and I pretty much went right away into working. Ironically, I actually did all of my week's work in the first day, because I thought, like, I had to grind super, super, super hard. And it's true that you do, but not on that level. It's kind of funny looking back. Now I'm about 5 months into the program, and I graduate in June. For anyone watching this, I want to clarify what UX and UI design is, because in the beginning I wasn't entirely sure what it meant. When people ask what I do, I pretty much tell them this simple analogy. A UX UI designer bridges the gap between technology and humanity. And so what that means is, for someone like me who my first phone was a flip phone, and graduating now to an iPhone, you know, it's that gap is pretty wide. And basically what a UX UI designer does is makes that transition as easy and as fluid as possible. And you know, that's pretty much what I tell people. Although the field is a lot deeper than that, it's pretty much a good base level of like what we do, aside from, you know, designing interfaces and using Sketch or Figma or Adobe XD. It's the tip of the iceberg, and that's usually where I like to start with people. And so the advice that I would give for people looking to transition into UX UI design, do it. You know, I would have loved if I had just done this like 2 or 3 years ago. The advice that I give is just do it. You know, UX UI design is still relatively in its infancy. It's really new, and if you enjoy psychology, if you enjoy colors, and if you have a general grasp on design, or you like visuals, or you like talking to people, if you like engaging and learning, this is the field for you. This is the perfect place for people who are interested in how people interact with technology, and you effectively become that bridge that are going to help transition people into better products and better interfaces and better experiences. If these things are very important to you, then this is the field to go in. And yeah, I hope this video has been a little helpful I hope this video has helped a little bit, at least in terms of sharing my story, and maybe someone else can relate. If you were in the same boat I was in, I 100% recommend that you just give it a shot. I think UX UI design can be really fulfilling, and it's very exciting, and I know it's new and can be a little scary. I 100% recommend that you try it. I'll be posting more content regularly, and I'll be keeping my page up to date, and I will keep you guys up to date with where I am in my career. Currently I finished my portfolio, I published my website, and I'm currently applying to places and internships and jobs. And hopefully the next video I'll have something lined up. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate it.